Annie Constable posted this. This is immediately after the news dropped on the WNBPA's proposal. Statement from a WNBA spokesperson regarding the union's latest proposal. Now check this out. Here's a direct quote. The Players Association latest proposal remains unrealistic and would cause hundreds of millions of dollars of losses for our teams.
The gloves just came off. February 11th, 2025, late Tuesday afternoon, the WNBA Players Association submitted their latest CBA proposal, demanding 25% of total league revenue in year one. Within 2 hours, the owners fired back with a statement that didn't mince words. This isn't negotiation anymore. This is a public calling out of what ownership believes is financial fantasy. And the speed of that response tells you everything about where we are right now. Somewhere past the 11th hour, deep into crisis territory.
NBA owners are letting it be known literally immediately after that proposal came out. Stop playing games. Stop playing. We're about to ignore y'all again. Things like this is why they ignored y'all for 6 weeks. You guys are not being realistic. You got Natasha Cloud going on all these rants, all of this stupid stuff going on. You're not even sending legitimate offers, and the owners are calling you guys.
Let's break down what the owners actually said, because the language here is deliberately sharp. Quote, the Players Association's latest proposal remains unrealistic and would cause hundreds of millions of dollars of losses for our teams. Not we have concerns or we need to discuss this further. They said unrealistic. They quantified the damage, hundreds of millions in losses. That's ownership drawing a line in the sand and daring the union to cross it. But here's what makes this particularly brutal. The statement continues. We still need to complete 2 drafts and free agency before the start of training camp and are running out of time. Translation, you're about to cost your teammates their paychecks, their housing arrangements, their entire 2025 season. The draft is supposed to happen. Free agency needs to process. Rookies are waiting to know where they're going, and the owners are putting that pressure directly on the union leadership.
Generations to come. That is the owners letting you know, listen, we gave y'all a good deal. We're giving y'all millions of dollars in pay. We're still paying for you guys' housing. We're still paying for you guys' apartments. We are still paying. We're not trading you when you get pregnant. We are still giving you guys money when you get for your babe. All types of stuff. Okay? The owners feel like they have laid a quality deal on the table in good faith, and the WNBPA are being greedy. That's not just what the owners feel. We've had players.
Now watch how this connects to what's been happening behind the scenes. Sophie Cunningham went public weeks ago, raising concerns about conflict of interest on the negotiating committee. Specifically, she called out Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, both board members of the WNBA Players Association, both co-founders of Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league that Natasha Cloud herself described as a competitor to the WNBA. Think about that structure for a second. The people negotiating your CBA also run a league that benefits if the WNBA season gets delayed or disrupted. Unrivaled wraps up in March. A WNBA lockout pushes the season start back, gives those players more recovery time, keeps attention on their alternative league longer. Sophie wasn't making a wild accusation. She was pointing out a mathematical problem with the incentive structure.
Breanna Stewart, who are board members but also co-founders of a competitor league, Unrivaled, as Natasha Cloud explained it to be a competitor league, all while Nafisa Collier, husband, tries to deny it. We've had Sophie Cunningham come out and say that they are a conflict of interest. All of this nonsense has been going on nonstop, and the owners wasted no time in this response. They didn't let days linger on.
And then you've got the anonymous player interviews that started leaking in January. One veteran told reporters that older players on the negotiating committee are being greedy and trying to collect every dollar before they retire. Another said they don't believe the leadership is looking out for the best interests of rank-and-file players who can't afford a lockout. Here's why that matters. Alicia Clark is 37 years old. She won't be around for the next CBA negotiation in 2032 or whenever this deal expires. Nneka Ogwumike is 35. A lot of the veteran voices driving these demands are in the final contracts of their careers. They need to maximize earnings now because they won't benefit from the long-term revenue growth that a sustainable CBA would create. Compare that to someone like Caitlin Clark, who's 23. She's got potentially 15 years left in this league. A deal that prioritizes immediate cash over structural sustainability hurts her future earning potential. And she's the one who generated the revenue spike that's funding these negotiations in the first place.
66 WNBA players, 66 players from around the world. Maybe there'll be 10, 12 WNBA players, maybe. It's a lot of people that aren't getting Project B money. There's a lot of players who aren't getting unrivaled money. Y'all being selfish right now. And that is why a player said it in an anonymous interview, that you guys are being greedy, you guys are being selfish, and they don't feel you're looking out for the best interests of the players. A lot of you older players are just trying to collect every dollar you can before the door hits you on the way out. Alicia Clark won't be around for the next CBA.
Let's talk about what the owners actually offered, because this isn't a lowball situation. The league's February 6th proposal included significant pay increases, full housing provisions for all players, guaranteed contracts, expanded mental health resources, and continued salary during pregnancy and maternity leave. They're not asking players to take less than they currently make. They're offering more night, just not the 25 to 27.5% revenue share the union is demanding. The ownership statement specifically said, "We believe the WNBA's proposal will result in a huge win for current players and generations to come." That phrasing is important. They're positioning their offer as the responsible choice that ensures the league still exists in 10 years. They're framing the union's counter as short-term thinking that could collapse franchises. And here's the uncomfortable reality that nobody wants to say out loud: the owners might be right about the math. The WNBA lost money in 2023. They've historically operated at a deficit subsidized by the NBA. The 2024 revenue spike from the Caitlin Clark effect changed the conversation, but it didn't erase decades of financial struggle. Jumping immediately to a 25% revenue share based on one anomalous season is objectively risky.
You guys are playing games right now. And ultimately, the fans are the ones who are being screwed. Caitlin Clark is the one who's being screwed, because without her, y'all wouldn't have any of these numbers to back up any of the things you are asking for. The things you're asking for now, you didn't ask for it in 2020, 2021, 2022. You couldn't get it. 2023. All of a sudden, 2024 happened. Caitlin Clark happened. And now you guys are walking around with your chest puffed out. And y'all want all this money, all while pushing all the fans that she brought to the table away.
Now here's where this gets really messy. The union's leverage depends entirely on maintaining the momentum from 2024. But watch what happened when Caitlin Clark went down with that ankle sprain in the playoffs. Moss viewership dropped 55% overnight. 55%. That's not a normal star player impact. That's one person carrying the entire league's media value. And the Players Association spent the entire 2024 season alienating the fan base that Caitlin brought in, calling them the dark side, launching investigations into racist and threatening messages that produced zero evidence, getting upset when opposing players got booed in Indiana, Dejanai Carrington and the flagrant foul controversy, Chennedy Carter's body check, Angel Reese's constant social media warfare with Clark fans. Every single one of those incidents pushed casual viewers away. So now the union is asking owners to bet hundreds of millions of dollars on their ability to maintain ratings and attendance. But the evidence suggests that without Caitlin Clark specifically, and without the fan base that came with her, those numbers crater. Why would ownership agree to a revenue share that assumes sustained growth when the players themselves spent a year demonstrating they don't know how to protect that growth?
Away. You want them to believe you'll still put them in seats. Meanwhile, one player went down and you lost more than 55% of the viewership. It's got to make sense for the owners too. The owners are letting it be known. This 27.5%, $9.5 million cap that these players are talking about would still result in us losing hundreds of millions of dollars. And we're not doing it. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think, man.
Here's what makes this entire situation particularly frustrating for everyone involved. The timing is terrible. We're supposed to be celebrating the WNBA's breakthrough moment. 2024 was the year the league finally got mainstream attention, sold out arenas, landed major media deals, proved it could be commercially viable. This should be the victory lap. Instead, we're staring at a potential lockout. The draft is in limbo. Free agency is frozen. Rookies don't know if they'll have jobs. International players are making contingency plans to stay overseas. Sponsors are getting nervous about whether they'll have a product to attach their brands to. And fans who just discovered the league in 2024 are watching this chaos and wondering if it's worth staying invested. The owners clearly believe they made a good faith offer that reflects financial reality. They're not NBA franchises with massive revenue streams. Most WNBA teams are still building toward profitability. Asking them to commit to a revenue share that could bankrupt half the league isn't negotiation. It's a demand for financial suicide. But the Players Association sees it differently. They watched the NBA players get 50% revenue share. They saw the explosion of interest in 2024 and believe they're finally in position to demand equity. They're tired of being told to wait, to be patient, to accept less because the league is still growing. From their perspective, this is the moment to strike while they have leverage. Both sides think they're being reasonable. Both sides think the other is acting in bad faith. And that's how you end up with a 2-hour response time on a proposal rejection. That's how you get statements talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of losses in public. That's how you arrive at the brink of a lockout that nobody actually wants but nobody knows how to avoid. The owners are betting the players will blink first because most of them can't afford to miss paychecks. The union is betting the owners will cave because they can't afford to waste the momentum from 2024. And caught in the middle are the fans, the rookies, the role players who aren't getting unrivaled contracts or overseas offers. And Caitlin Clark, who generated this entire revenue surge and now gets to watch everyone fight over how to divide it. So here's the question that's going to determine what happens next. Can either side actually afford to let this go to a lockout? Because once you cancel games, once you lose that 2025 season momentum, once you send those casual fans back to the NBA or college ball or wherever they came from, you don't get them back. The 2024 spike wasn't guaranteed to continue anyway. A work stoppage might kill it permanently. And if that happens, if we're sitting here in 2026 looking at ratings that dropped back to 2023 levels because the league canceled a season during its breakthrough moment, both sides lose. The players lose leverage for the next negotiation. The owners lose the investment they've poured into building this league for 28 years. And the sport loses the credibility it just spent decades earning. The owners just told the union, "Your proposal would cost us hundreds of millions." The union's response will tell us whether they believe that number, whether they care about that number, or whether they're willing to gamble the entire league's future on the bet that ownership is bluffing. We're about to find out who's actually willing to walk away from the table, and what it's going to cost everyone if they do.